You're listening to Reignite, a podcast where we just can't escape bureaucracy, no matter how hard we try. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
And this continues to be a Director Tan hate account. Since we have to wait for the radiation to clear on Eos before we can do anything fun there, we might as well head back to the Nexus to see things have changed while we were off trying our luck with alien technology. Things are probably finally settling down, right? No, absolutely not. We have anti-AI sentiment now, and a bartender who's angry that his chemistry lab is also hosting open mic night. The initiative leadership weighs in on Ryder's next move, and Dr. Harry has a way for Ryder to speak to their comatose twin. All in all, just a regular Tuesday on the Nexus.
Right, of course. Why would anything be normal for Ryder at this point? It hasn't been pretty much since we started.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
This episode, though, does have me thinking of our good friend and listener, Nikki, Commander Nikki, that is. I don't want to drop their official title. But Commander Nikki loves our check-ins, and we are going to get to do a bunch of those aboard the Tempest now that we are done on Eos and flying back to the Nexus.
Yes, before we start the check-ins, after we have settled Prodromos, we actually have a family meeting on the Tempest.
We do.
The first of many.
Yeah, this is very funny to me just because there were kind of moments like this every so often in Mass Effect in the original trilogy, but nothing quite like this where like a person addresses the entire battle crew, as it were. And like, I just love how little that Drac and PB give a shit about any of this. They just don't care.
Like, this is the comparison. Commander Shepard was a capable and respected soldier whom everyone knew not to cross, who had a team of the baddest and strongest soldiers in the galaxy, and Ryder is in charge of a clown car crew of 6.
Yeah. It's and like, you know, I mean, there are people like Liam is pretty devoted, though I still don't love him, and like Vetra obviously as well. But like the rest of the crew is kind of just like, man, I don't know, whatever. Even Lexi gives you shit. Like it's pretty funny.
I love Lexi though, but this whole meeting. When this meeting starts, you really get a feel for everybody's personalities because Cora tries to lead the meeting. Like, all right, come to order. If we don't have regulations, what do we have?
Right, yeah. Whereas it's clear that Ryder kind of wants it to be a little more... Well, you can choose how to do it, but like my Ryder is more laid back and kind of like, we're a family now. And it's clear that that's not what Cora is going for at all. You're kind of undermining the whole, let's do this by the book kind of thing, which obviously I was going to. That's kind of my personality.
Yeah, my Ryder was very much like, I don't care. I'm not babysitting you. Sleep where you want to sleep. I don't care.
Yeah, it's very funny that several times during the check-ins, people let you know that PB has taken up hold in an escape pod as a bedroom. And we'll get to more about that when we check in with her. But it's just very funny that everyone's like, yeah, she doesn't want a room. She's in an escape pod. Very funny.
Poor Cora is so defeated when Drac's like, yeah, I put my rucksack in the kitchen. Like, great. Fine. Perfect. Moving on. Next item of business.
Yeah, this whole conversation, like, as it ends, Cora's like, well, gives this air of, well, that was useless. I'm going to my room. Like, she just seems kind of a little annoyed and fed up, which, I mean, makes sense considering her character and that she's still stressed and, like, you are going to have more conversations about how things are weird for her. So, like, her attitude isn't out of line. It's just, it's kind of funny because she's kind of like, what if Ashley Williams was actually a developed character? Yeah. Is how I look at it. Because she's just as kind of curt and by the book. No racism, though, thankfully, seemingly. But, like, definitely that same kind of, like, by the book, can we follow the rules? What is going on, guys, kind of thing.
Yeah. Cora is very much like, everything needs to have a place, because if nothing has a place, then I don't have a place, and therefore I am going to spiral and have a panic attack. Like, I understand her so well.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But there were so many good lines. Like, throughout the meeting, you guys are, like, recapping what you did on Eos. And you're like, overcame radiation poisoning a number of times and didn't die.
It's like the bar is literally so low right now. Like, they can just step over it for success.
In their defense, everyone else who tried this before them died.
Right. For sure. But because that was the case, it's like literally any success is a success at this point.
And then they just decide the meeting is over and leave you all by yourself. And it's just like, okay, good meeting, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, Ryder feels so dejected. It's just kind of like, bye, guys. All right. I'll see you later, I guess.
I'm so glad we could have this talk. It's fine. I love it. Like, I just feel like in Andromeda, there's so much more room for humor because in the original trilogy, everything was just so dramatic.
Yeah.
And, like, there was some humor, and, like, they picked their moments really well in the original trilogy, but in this one, it's so much more, like, goofy, and, like, we're exploring, it's fine!
Yeah, I mean, it leads more into my constant Star Trek comparison, right?
Yeah.
Like, Star Trek can get serious and super dramatic, but was often comedic also because it was about the downtime more than the greater threat.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing I enjoy about Andromeda the most so far, is that there is no Saren. I assume there will be at some point some kind of greater threat. There must be, right? Like the mystery Ket that we still know nothing about. But like, currently the point of this game is to explore and learn, and there is no like greater threat or villain that you're working against, whereas like from mission 1 Saren is the enemy and you have a target and you have a focus. This is a little more freeing in a similar way again to Inquisition, right? Inquisition and Corypheus what the fuck was Corypheus, thank you.
You're welcome.
Fucking Crystal Head, whatever the hell his name is. He doesn't become the big bad till about halfway through. Like, you know that shit's going on, but you don't have a target. In a similar way, it's kind of more open. And I'm guessing this game is going to do a similar thing where, like, we'll eventually have someone to pin a lot of the issues on, but we don't yet. And so I can just kind of bumble around and be like, hey, guys, what's going on? Where are we headed? What are we doing?
Let's get into one-on-one conversations.
Sure.
So, talking to Cora, let's start with her. She holds up in the botany lab. Botany lab? That's not what it is. That's not what it's called. Nope. I don't remember what it's called. It's not hydroponics. Whatever. She has a place where she hangs out and she waters plants.
Yeah, she hangs out in the area where the plants are.
And she tells you a little bit about her background, about how her biotics were so strong that she made the human alliance nervous. So instead they were like, how about we send you over to work with some Asari?
Yeah, and she was actually an Asari commando.
Yep. She was
typically
an Asari huntress, specifically.
Specifically. And like Ryder's first question is, wait, but you're human. How are you an Asari huntress? Which I think it's very cool. It shows this kind of like other side of the Asari and like especially how they work with humans. And also it gives us more background on why Cora is kind of the way she is.
This whole conversation, Cora is such a fucking weeb over the Asari.
Yeah, fangirl.
A huntress should have better control. The Asari will know what to do. Let me quote my favorite Asari commander and general who has so many great pieces of advice. I'm just like, girl. Are you okay? The answer is no, she is not okay.
No, definitely not. What I like about Cora is that, and a lot of the human characters as well, like the alien characters have always had depth and dynamics, but the human characters, as we've discussed at length on multiple episodes, most recently in our N7 special, like, the humans often get the short end of the stick. What I love about Cora, Gil, and Liam are that they don't. Like, they really do get personalities. Like, my issues with Liam aside, it's a personality. Like, he has growth. He has an arc. And, like, Cora's the same way. Like, and we talked about it before. Like, she could be catty, but she's not. Mm-hmm. She definitely always sounds kind of annoyed. But mostly because, like we said, like she wants things to go a certain way, and the minute they don't, she's like, what do I do? You know?
Yeah, and she's still like super torn up over losing Alec because he was a father figure to her in a way.
Yep.
And when you're constantly being told you don't fit here, you don't fit here, you don't fit here, the person that offers you a place to fit is the person that you're going to attach yourself to.
Absolutely.
And, like, she is a little catty in a moment with me. She says something about Alec that I really like, so I wrote it down. People treat geniuses like they're made of cut glass. To explain why she got so close to Alec, because she didn't give a shit that he was a genius. She was just like, train me.
Yeah.
Train
like, I
me,
don't care
senpai.
who you are. Yeah, exactly.
And they got along really well. And there's something to be said for someone who just doesn't care about your reputation, especially when your reputation got tanked. And Cora and Alec had that, whereas whereas Alec and his own children had kind of a contentious relationship because his reputation tanking tanked their reputations and put them in a really bad position.
Yes.
So Cora didn't have that effect on her life, and she was able to approach him very differently.
Yeah. It's clear that there's meant to be, like, this can go one of two ways. Like, you can either agree with Cora based on inference, or you can go against Cora because your dad was kind of absent for you, right? Like, that's kind of how these kinds of conversations can go in this game.
Yeah. I lean towards, like, you can talk to me, I'm a good listener. And she just replies being like, are you as good of are you also a good Pathfinder? Because you weren't trained.
Yeah.
Can I remind you? And I'm just like, okay, calm down.
All right, chill.
Like, I know. But she does say she doesn't want to rival Just Answers.
Yeah, which is a good line. I appreciate that.
I do too. Did you flirt with Cora?
A little.
A little, yeah.
Just a little.
How'd you like that?
Fine. I didn't really do anything for me. You're going to find out through these check-ins that I flirted with a lot of people, and I'm still kind of in a nebulous place. Look, I'm treating this like Inquisition. Like, I'm going to flirt with everybody till I can't flirt with anyone anymore. Okay. Like, that's literally even
until the game makes the choice for me.
Well, I mean, it's not going to make the choice for me, but it's going to make me make a choice, right?
Right.
Like, but also that's very much me. Like, if I could have done that in the trilogy, I would have. And like, if we ever get to Inquisition, I will do that because, like, I mean, you know me. I am often a flirt, and it's not always sexual. It's just often like I'm very friendly and kind of goofy, and so that
right. You're charming and charismatic.
Yeah, and a little bit of himbo energy. All that together means I'm a flirt.
Yeah. It's up to you what you do with that.
Correct. Well, and the person.
I didn't bother flirting with Cora because I know she's straight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it that's like the Cassandra conversation we've had a million times. They let me flirt with Cassandra as a femme, but I can't do anything about it. Why?
Yeah.
Good to know they did that with Cora too. God damn it, BioWare. I
had the option, but I'm like, she's just going to shoot me down. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned that the hard way with someone else. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Well, that's not the next person, because the next person is Gil.
Yes. Who is ostensibly the ship engineer, yeah, and like make sure the engine runs. He's our Adams, essentially.
He's the riffraff spokesperson.
God, he's so... I mean, I already know, based on inference and seeing Twitter posts, that he's Ken Shepard's favorite. Mm-hmm. And... which always gets my attention as I come from, he has good taste with Caden Olenko.
It's true.
So
he does have good taste.
So I did flirt with Gil before you even ask. But what I like about Gil, I don't know that Gil is my type, but what I love about Gil is he is my type of friend for sure. Because he is very frank and upfront. And he's the kind of person, like... We like to talk about our favorite or former favorite comedian's line. Like, I want the friends who are going to give me shit back. Like, if I have a friend who's just like, well, I don't know, or now I feel sad. Like, those aren't my kinds of friends. My friends can give and take, and Gil seems like the type. Like, he likes to give people shit. He likes when you bicker and banter with him. So, like, those are my kinds of friends.
Yes, Gil is definitely the kind of person who can give as good as he gets.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get along with him really well. I like him. I think he's funny. And also he's very, like you say, he's very frank. He's very blunt, but not in a way that is mean. In a way that is like, here it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, like, beat around the bush with you.
Yeah, and he's cocky, but not cocky because he's not over like cocky and doesn't have the skills to back it up. He's cocky because he does have the skills. Like he talks about his work and his work on the ship in this way that sounds a little conceited, but it's the kind of conceited where like you get from just being good at what you do.
Yeah, it's earned.
Yes.
It was a short conversation with Gil, so let's move on to Liam and the couch.
Yeah, this moment is so weird. You walk into one of the storage areas, and before you can say anything, Liam's like, "Oh, good, you're here. Here, come help me with this." And you're like, but what?" And it turns out that there's an old couch that he wants you to help set up in this room that he can chill on and kind of have a moment.
It's a 600-year-old couch at this point.
Yeah, and apparently he's taken it on multiple tours, and like you're just like, wait, so you just bring this couch everywhere? Why?
It was new when we left. He makes me
not
so
wrong.
bad. He kind of sometimes reminds me of like an aging jock who misses high school.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll call him out right now because he probably won't even listen to this podcast. But he reminds me of Pat Edwards, 100%. You know, the well-meaning jock who is also kind of a nerd, like
Our Pat Edwards?
Our Pat Edwards.
The slander. Pat, do you hear what Matt is saying about you?
He won't listen to this show. It's fine. But yeah, no, it's clear that like Liam is a nostalgic person. Like this whole conversation is about better days and like what it was like before and what he was hoping for when we got here. It's a very reminiscing conversation.
I don't feel like he considers those to be better days necessarily. He thinks of them very fondly.
Yes.
And I think he's hoping to carry that fond feeling into this new life that he chose for himself. Which, when you talk to him, he did not choose Andromeda for any kind of, like, dark reason or, like, character-driven reason. Like, I'm running from my past, but I'm really running from myself because that'd be dope. But no, it's really just because I believed in it. It sounded like a good time. Here I am.
Yeah.
And, like, there's something kind of refreshing about that. Of just like, yeah, okay. I have no dark secrets. I just really thought this was going to be it for me.
Yeah, my notes under when I chat with Liam is just couch question marks. Because it's like, it was so odd.
He's pretty self-aware, though.
How
did flirting with him go?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. You didn't.
I wasn't interested. I also, I can't quite remember. He asked if you want to have a drink here and chill. And like, there's no real option. It's either no, you don't want to have a drink, or yes, I want to have a drink. There's no, I'd love to hang out.
I don't think you even get to say yes or no.
I think you just do. I think you just agree. And like, and that happens, that's going to be relevant when we get to the bar scene later. But like, I just don't love that, like, it's assumed that you'll drink. Like,
yeah. I think Mass Effect kind of has a problem with alcoholism.
It does, absolutely.
And I think that carries into this game quite a bit.
Yeah, because this is one of two encounters I've had so far where you're offered a drink and you can't really say no. Your character just drinks it, which I understand. You're playing an established character in a universe in the same way we played Shepard, but they let you decide whether you want to drink or not as Shepard, so I just don't understand why we haven't gotten that option here. I'd much rather just have a cup of coffee and hang out while you drink till you're drunk.
Right.
It's fine, you know?
Let's see. Let's talk about Vetra. When we walk in on Vetra, she is having a conversation with her little sister, Sid, and it's so cute.
It's great. Yeah, Sid is immediately, is that the Pathfinder? Hi, Pathfinder! Like, it's just fangirling. It's the best.
Adorable.
It's very cute. And like, Vetra is immediately embarrassed as well. Like, no, I really need to go. No, I'm serious. I have to go. And like, she's trying to ask a question. It's great.
I'm hanging up on you. This is enough.
It's so good.
I love Vetra. And then she explains herself and like, so you're probably wondering why I jumped on your ship without your consent.
Yeah. Like, so I'm here now. Let's talk about why I'm here.
I'm into it. It's good. Her reasoning is very much like, you need people tearing obstacles down. You don't need people standing in your way. And I'm capable of tearing those obstacles down, of helping you find the things that you need. I know everybody on this crew. I know the tools that they need. I know the materials that they need. Like, I am the perfect person for your crew, and you need me.
Yeah.
And, ooh, that is some laser focus.
Yeah. Totally. And you do get an opportunity here to like flirt a little with her, which of course I did.
I
And she
did
gets
too.
she absolutely immediately gets knocked off kilter by it too, which is very funny to me.
She's so cute.
I love when flirting makes catches someone off guard because, you know, I don't want to give adoration towards someone if they don't want it, but clearly when someone gets flustered in the kind of way that Vetra does, like she is like charmed by it and then doesn't know what to say, which is just adorable.
She's so cute. I love her so much. Then let's get over to Lexi, which the Lexi conversation feels very out of place with this sequence of events, because when you walk in, the first thing Ryder says is, "You're not Harry."
Yeah, and
it's like, yeah, we know that Harry's not on this ship. We've had a conversation with Harry about how he's not going to be here.
Yeah, I think you're meant to talk to her first, maybe, but I don't even know how you would do that.
I don't know how you would talk to her first.
Yeah.
But doesn't make sense. You saw Lexi walk by you when you first left the Nexus. Like, you knew that Harry was not on this ship. What do you say in response to Lexi telling you that Harry's going to stay behind to take care of your twin?
I don't remember what the choices were. Can you remind me?
I can only tell you what I said, which was, joke's on him, Scott's a handful.
I think I was sincere about it. I think I said, you know, I'm glad that he'll be there to help her, you know, while she's still in this coma.
Yeah, no, I bagged on you.
Yeah, of course. Fair enough.
Of course I did.
Look, you know, it's on brand.
Harassing you is my specialty.
That is definitely true. You're very good at it.
It was true 12 years ago. It's true now.
I also love in this conversation that you can like ask Lexi, like, but you're an Asari, you know, what are you, you know, and she just assures you that it doesn't matter the race that she is. She'll be a perfectly great doctor, and then like starts to pick on you.
Well, but there's a reason why. The reason why she is an Asari taking care of humans is because she specializes in other life forms.
Right.
She doesn't specialize in Asari. She specializes in, there's a specific term and it's not in my head, but she specializes in other life forms. She wrote her thesis on the virility of Krogan.
Second time a thesis is mentioned because I did this out of order.
Yeah. Like, all these people with their theses, and they're gonna send you their thesis, and you'll get 1,000 pages of science shit to read.
Which I'm never gonna read in a million years.
But yeah, so the reason why Lexi joined the Hyperion is because of her experience with other alien to her life forms.
Right.
And she is now in charge of taking care of the Pathfinder, which freaks her out. Yes,
because it makes her very nervous.
I was very like, "Oh, you'll do a great job," and she just goes, "I just stabbed you."
Right? Yeah, because she was taking like a blood sample.
and everybody has off days.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. It's so good. It's so funny. And then she wants to get a fucking Ket specimen on the ship.
Yeah, and you're just like, excuse me?
I'm sorry, you want what? But I love her. She grew up on Omega. She did not grow up on Thessia. She is a very different kind of Asari than the ones we've met before. She, like, really clawed her way to where she is now.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't born with a lot of privilege. She wasn't born with a lot of advantage. And she did what she did because she had to.
Yeah. Mass Effect has a long and storied history of great ship doctors, and Lexi is no exception.
Yeah, I love her. I did take a minute to change my hair and makeup since I dyed my hair again. My hair is now different shades of blue and green. So I updated my writer. You change your writer's appearance in the medbay.
Noted. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done that yet, but I need to, especially since the funny thing is the haircut that I chose for my writer is soon going to be my actual haircut. So it'll be even more accurate. But for the listeners who don't follow me on Twitter, I am now a blonde and I have no facial hair anymore. I shaved. And so, you know, I heard blondes have more fun. And so I wanted to try it out. He's
going to go out and bully some redheads later.
Yeah, exactly.
I also stopped by the bathroom, and I would like to say that the Tempest has much nicer bathroom. Has a much nicer bathroom than the Normandy did.
They're more reasonable looking bathrooms. Like
It's
they just
much more reasonably designed.
Yes, agreed. It's also a bigger ship, isn't it? The Tempest? Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's
not
smaller.
Bigger.
Yeah.
It's differently laid out. Like there's fewer places to explore.
It's all on 2 levels instead of like 2 or 3 levels. But also the multiple levels of the Normandy were shorter. I'm sure there's an official word. If you're listening right now and there's an official word on which ship is bigger, which I'm sure there is on one of the wikis, feel free to send us an email or put it on a comment or something.
I also went to the barracks and I read everything on the crew board. And these were so funny to me. I love reading the crew board because everybody on this ship is unhinged.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a sitcom a little bit.
Drac and PB are officially on the team. I finished the assignment paperwork for the Nexus, had to fudge a few details, but you're both officially members of the Pathfinder team. Welcome. And Drac just wanted to check in, publicly, about what I said. Cora. Comments. Relax, Harper. The best headbutt is the one you don't see coming. I'll keep that in mind. That was referring to something almost shitty that Cora said about how the Krogan destroyed their entire planet. And Drac was like, you're right. That is a thing we did.
Yep.
You were not wrong. Some other good things were dinner tonight, null entry. From Callow. Sorry, everyone. I forgot we were taking turns and half the rations aren't unpacked yet. Response from Vetra. Got you covered, Callow. There's soup in the galley, dextro and levo for me, and fruit cocktail. And then Callow replied, and to think we would have left port without you.
Very sweet.
Like, friendship, so good. Lost and found, coffee mug. Found a mug yesterday near the biolab. Nice one, with a magnetized base. You left it stuck sideways to a bulkhead. Oh, that's mine. I just put it down for a second when my hands were full. Next time, maybe empty it first.
Amazing.
Can you guess who those people were?
I mean, that definitely sounds like a Gil conversation.
Oh, close. It was Cora and Suvi.
Oh, Suvi, yeah. Suvi is brilliant, but is also a little spacey, a little space cadet-y.
Yeah, for real. I'm trying to see if there was anything else. No. I think that's it for crew board, but they were good. Also, there was one. Oh, anyone want to help me move a couch?
Yeah.
Where Liam tried to get people. Then there was also welcome to your new info board. Congratulations, Pathfinder writer, on successful installation of your info board, version 3.4. You are now ready to keep yourself and your staff informed on the latest developments. Cora replies, okay, I've set up everyone's user accounts. Have at it. So we can post anything here. Anything you want the whole crew to see, though I disabled image embedding. Missed opportunities. So
yeah, the writing is very good so far.
It just, so much room for humor. I love it. I love it a lot. Eavesdropping on Drac. He's getting fussed over by Kesh.
It's very good. And this is where you find out that Kesh is actually his granddaughter. So when we were saying grandpa in the previous episode with Colin, I was more accurate than I thought because he's actually a grandpa.
He is a grandpa. He's Kesh's grandpa. He calls her Rushan.
It's very cute.
I love adorable.
Drac because Drac is equally aggressive and paternal in a way that like Patriarch in the last trilogy was soft, but not it was still pretty aggressive and warlike. What I love about Drac is he's one of the biggest badasses you'll meet, but is just as quick to dote on the people he cares about and has no issue showing it. And I love that. Yeah,
he's a really good father figure. We talk about how the Krogan left the Nexus. I said that it was an easy choice, especially given everything that the Krogan have been through.
Yep, same.
The Krogans have started their own colony officially. And just, he's so proud of Kesh. Whenever he talks about her, he's just like, that station would have fall apart without my granddaughter. Like, y'all would be dead without her.
Pretty clear to tell you his thoughts on Tan as well, without a second thought.
Fuck Tan. Let's see. And then I went and I changed my clothes.
Yeah, I didn't even know I could do that, so I'll do that next time.
You can do that in your Pathfinder quarters.
Okay, noted.
In your Pathfinder quarters, you can change your clothes, you can change your armor design, you can check your emails, and you can talk to Sam.
Yeah, I know you can talk to Sam, and the conversation with Sam is hilarious because at one point you go, "Wait a minute, you're back on the other ship, but you're here. Can you be that fractured?" And he's essentially like, "Yes, I can do multiple things at once, but don't worry, I can also queue. And when anything involving you is the priority." Which
I only
was...
sometimes forget to recycle the air. I'm sorry. Old Edie joke.
Well, and also what I love about Sam when you talk to him on the ship is like you can ask him about your dad and other things, and then you can ask him about his humor, and he goes, "Oh yes, your father wanted me to learn to tell jokes." And he's like, "Oh, all right, great. Tell me a joke." And he like you can just keep asking him jokes, and he tells you one bad joke after the other, and every time Ryder just goes, "Ugh." It's so funny. It's so good.
And now we know what kind of humor Alec had.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god. I checked my emails before I went upstairs to speak to the rest of the crew. We are eligible for a Pyjack pet.
Yes.
Dr. Aradana needs help back on the Nexus. She has a math problem that she needs Sam's help with. Carrie Tavessa wants to interview us.
Hopefully that goes better than other interviews in the Mass Effect universe.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We get a nice email from Cora. It feels very much like friendship. Like, it was her saying how nice it was to talk.
Yeah.
And it felt like such a nice moment. We also get a list of Tempest hacks from Callow. How to get infinite coffee, how to jump your laundry in the laundry queue, how to get infinite hot water. And he ends it with like, "Don't spread these around."
Yeah. Like, this will be our secret. Don't tell anybody.
And I'm just like, "Oh, Callow, that's so sweet." It was very nice. And also, I want to talk about my favorite email from Drac.
Yes.
It's titled, "About Your Dad. Vetra told me what happened to your dad. I've lost a lot of people over the years. Figured you could use some cheering up, or at least a distraction. This usually helps me. Drac has attached 37 images of various rifles and shotguns. 2 are duplicate images, many are low-res or watermarked. Signed, Drac."
So good. Like, that's clearly how he would cheer you up.
I love it so much because Drac joins this team thinking like, "Ugh, humans. All right, fine. This is for the good of my people, for the good of my granddaughter, whatever. I will get along. It'll be okay." Then he talks to Vetra, and then he finds out like, "Oh shit, this kid has been through some stuff. Oh no, what do? I will send them pictures of guns. That makes me happy."
It leads into the paternal thing. Like, he is very much like, he goes so quickly from "I can't be bothered with your species" to "Oh my god, my little boy, you are his lizard son." I just made that connection.
Oh, how the turntables!
I am now a Krogan's lizard son. Love that. Love that for us.
I love that for us. It's so good.
Title of this episode: I am the lizard son now.
Oh god. After that, let's head upstairs to talk to PB.
Yeah. So that, like, I really love, I don't know, I forget the name of PB's voice actress, but I really like PB's character. And in this conversation with her, you get to find out very quickly she's also the opposite. Like I said, she's the opposite of Liara in our last episode. And even more so now, they are pushing against the cliches that kind of were laid with a lot of the Asari of being a certain way, because PB doesn't want to tell you everything about her life. PB doesn't want you to know about her past. PB just wants to get shit done, kick ass, and take names. And I love that. And I love that during this conversation, you can ask her a little bit about her past. You can flirt a little, which I did, and she flirted back. And like, she dodges the questions, and eventually you end the conversation going, "Well, congratulations, you've been the most successful at dodging my questions." And she immediately is like, "Yes, winner!
I'm number 1!"
She's so proud of being good at that. Like, it's clear that's what she was trying to do.
She's very cute. She's very fun. I think I would be great friends with her. I think I would hate dating her. I'd be like, I cannot do this.
So, like we've talked about in the past, we've looked for our current partners a lot in the partners we found in games. And, like, I don't see my spouse's personality clear as a bell anywhere yet. It's pretty, like, Cora is kind of close, but, like, I see a lot of it in PB also, especially when my spouse Sarah wants something. Like, come hell or high water, she's going to get it if she has the confidence to go for it.
I see that in PB.
And I see that in PB. And, I mean, I also just genuinely, most of the characters on the ship are very attractive. So as far as physical attraction, like, it's not really a choice. Like, they are all attractive in their own way. So, like, it's more about the personality. But I like how bubbly and optimistic PB is. It was, especially considering, again, coming from the trilogy, like, a lot of the characters, even at their best, like, Grunt was unapologetically Grunt most of the time, but a lot of other characters tempered themselves based on the situation and what was going on. And some folks here are doing that a little, but for the most part, they're not. And PB is absolutely not. PB is like, I'm me. This is what I want. Get on or get behind me. You know,
she lives her life out loud.
Yeah. And, like, I love when I'm flirting with her, I get to make a comment about, like, well, it's not often that you get tackled by an attractive Asari or something along those lines, and she flirts back with you about it. Like, she knows that tackling you to the ground the way she did, while there may not have been an innate sexual thought behind it when she did it, she recognizes that it is a sexual thing to do. She's not oblivious.
We do learn a couple of things about her. She often says, like, I'm not looking for a home. I'm not even looking to really stick around. Everything's temporary. She is someone who is ready to cut and run at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that sticks out for me. That's like, I can't flirt with you. Because if I flirt with you, I'm going to get attached to you. And then when you decide to leave, I will be upset.
Yeah, it's also, we find out through this conversation that she had a previous partner.
She did.
That was only a friend, but that is no longer a friend anymore either.
Yeah, she came to Andromeda with a special someone who woke up a different person. And, like, I just want to talk about that for a second. If you go on something like this kind of voyage with a person, thinking this is the person that I'm, like, gonna spend my life with, and then you both wake up and that person is just not who you like came here with. Like, they have somehow changed. They have different priorities. They have different, like, needs. How do you even cope with that? It's not like you can turn around and go home.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, it just seems so outside the realm of something I could possibly imagine.
I think that kind of explains what PB's experience is like right now, like how she's experiencing the world and how she's choosing to cope, which is to throw herself into this remnant research and discovery.
Yeah.
Because what else can she fucking do at this point?
Yeah, totally. And it makes sense why also she doesn't want to share her past, because she clearly did all of that kind of sharing and caring with this former friend. And so she doesn't want to do it again because I'm sure she's afraid of getting burned again, which makes sense. PB to me seems like the character most easy to flirt with for me, just because she's the most gregarious. She reminds me of Dorian a lot also, because she's just very... Dorian is another character in the BioWare lore that is very much himself. He's who he is, and there's literally zero you can do about it. And so that kind of gregariousness are the kinds of people in real life that I gravitate towards too as well. Larger than life personalities, people who are very outspoken and very much themselves. So we'll get to it later, but like, I don't have a clear idea yet, but I like PB as a character. I think she's really fun and really funny, and I'm excited to see more of her character.
Next up is Suvi. Not a long conversation, but we do find out that while she has a very scientific mind, she also reconciles science with religion.
Yeah, I had an issue with this conversation at first. It's funny, I wrote the note mid-conversation. When you're talking to her at first, when she talks about her religion and how it plays into her love of science and that one doesn't discount the other, you can either say, I'm the same way, or I don't, that's bunk. I don't believe that.
Right. And I hate that. I hate that.
I hate that too. But I wrote that note, and then, of course, after you can go, well, you're allowed to practice whatever you want, and it doesn't affect me. Like, eventually, Ryder says the thing that I wanted him to say, but the fact that you have to choose first, I believe, or you're an idiot, I don't believe. Like, I didn't want to do that, because neither of those are the answers I would give. It's the second answer that we get to give, which is, I'm not religious, but if that's what you observe, that's your business. As long as you do your job well, I don't care what you believe, kind of a thing.
Right. I leaned more towards like I understand that feeling and that approach, because while I am not religious in a mainstream sense, I do believe in other stuff, I believe in other influences, and that works for me. And her belief is totally valid, and it's never pushy, and I respect her for it. I just wish I could more say, like, I don't see things quite the way you do, but I think it's cool that you do.
Yeah, and they don't really give you that option.
Right. It's not for me, but cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I did conclude the conversation by saying I like a diverse team. Did you flirt with Suvi?
So I flirted with Suvi in the first conversation you can have with her when you hear about her dissertation, and then she immediately tells you, yeah, I'm not into guys. Sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree. And I was like, oh, all right, got it, noted. So yeah, I walked right into that. We do get to talk to Callow briefly as well. He is bickering with Gil, and you come over and you're like, is everything okay?
Oh my God.
And Callow's like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is going to be your entire experience.
With the two of them? Okay, good.
Yes, the fucking two of them. We talked to Callow. We find out that he was the test pilot for the Tempest back in the Milky Way, and he's the only one from the team who came. He took the leap.
Yep.
We also learn a little bit more about Solarians, that apparently they have photographic memories, which I do not recall from the original trilogy, but okay.
I feel like Morden told us that, but I don't remember.
I don't remember either. There's no word about the Solarian arc, and Callow says, like, I really hope that there is, because it's kind of lonely to be one of the few Solarians around. And I did say to him, cheer up, Callow. We always have Director Tan.
Oh, no. You didn't.
I did.
That's mean.
Callow's response was, that snide little bureaucrat?
Yeah.
I love him.
Callow is great. I love that in this game, the characters and the diversity of the characters is so much better than in the original trilogy. Like, you have standout of each race, but you don't have like there. It just feels like there's more standout moments with more non-humans in this game already than there were in the original trilogy.
Yes.
The original trilogy is very human focused because you're human trying to fight for the humans initially and then everyone. Like, you are Alliance first and then it broadens from there. This is very much like we're finding a home for everyone from the beginning.
Also, there are more femme-presenting people.
Yes.
Like,
we're going to talk about that on the Nexus.
Yeah, there's femme Krogans, femme Solarians, femme Turians. Like,
yeah,
they exist now.
Yes. Still, apparently, no fat people in space, though.
Right. Well,
what are you gonna do? Look, I can have a beer gut, but my characters can't. Like, it's whatever. Fine.
Whatever. Anyway, now to park on the Nexus.
So right before that, I do want to say something that I noticed about this that I don't think I've brought up yet is I do appreciate how in this game, when you're having conversations with characters, as you've chose the option and then go back to the main wheel, those options are grayed out if you've done it already. In the previous games, I would often hear the same things multiple times because I couldn't remember which courses of conversation I'd had or not. But that's not a problem this time. They gray out the conversations you've had before, which I appreciate.
Or they will come back if there's new information.
Right. It will repopulate as something else or re-highlight. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool and useful. Parking on the Nexus. I really appreciate that as you are like coming into land, the Nexus is very clearly incomplete from a distance.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a nice detail. I like it.
Yeah. I also like that once we've landed and we disembark, like there's a crowd and people are really excited to talk to you. And we never got this as Shepard. No one was ever happy with anything we did. Like, there was no
nobody ever recognized Shepard. They were just like, who the fuck are you?
Whereas there's a Solarian who comes to talk to you immediately, and you can be like, yeah, we're just getting started, but you should celebrate. Pop the champagne. Like, this is a good moment to celebrate. You don't have to choose that option, but that's the option I chose because
that's the option I chose too.
And it's just nice to see these, I don't want to use the word commoner, these, just dock workers and staff members being these really normal people, non-soldiers, non-military, non-explorers, excited that you're making a change and that the change matters. Like, that's really cool to see pretty immediately.
Yeah, after we talk to these very excited colonists, we see Vetra watching over the ship like a mother hen.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think it's very funny. And you can talk to her a little bit. She'll just cycle through the same couple of lines. She's just watching over the ship and be like, no, don't do that. I think she's so funny.
She is pretty funny.
Where did you go first when you got to the Nexus?
I'm trying to remember. I'm looking at my notes. Oh, the first place I went was towards Tan's office. And so
you went straight to Tan?
Yeah, and so the first thing that I did was encounter our reporter friend. And this is a moment when I got a little annoyed. She looks very similar to Lexi. Why? Asari should look different. PB looks starkly different. There are other Asari on the ship who have looked different. This Asari looks like Lexi. Don't reuse the same character model. Like, it's clear they used the same character model, changed some of the facial freckles and stuff, and that just bugged me. It's like, it feels lazy.
That's fair.
But we are asked, so I can't remember, I'm blanking. Do you have her name written down?
Carrie Tavessa.
Carrie. So Carrie comes to you and she's like, so hey, Tan has commissioned us to make a documentary about experiences here on the Nexus and to, inspire people. But I'd much rather tell the truth. So I'm coming to you to see if you will help me do exactly that. And Ryder immediately you'd be like, well, that's not going to make the bureaucrats very happy. And she's like, yeah, but I don't care. I want to know what you want. So I love this dynamic already. Is so much better than previous reporter conversations.
I'm over here like, fuck yeah, fuck the man.
Let's go. I'll give you them honest answers, which I, of course, did when she interviewed us.
I did too. I said that we needed to do better.
Yep.
Because, we lost so many people. There was a mutiny. You guys handled it really badly.
Yep. And that we should always be striving to do better, which is true.
For sure. So this is something that's going to be happening periodically. You're going to get more emails from Carrie just being like, hey, let's do another interview. Usually after big story moments. So you'll see more of Carrie. You can also flirt with Carrie. Did you flirt with her?
I did not. Did you?
I did not.
I just met her. I saw no kind of reason to flirt with her.
That's fair. You can flirt with so many people. I have to ask now. Did you flirt with Tan? No, you can't flirt with Tan.
No, and why would I? And so from here, of course, I did go to talk to Tan about a side mission that we'll come back to. And I also spoke to him, of course, about the next steps, what we should do next. And I immediately hate his tone because when you get to him, he's like, Ryder, welcome back. I'm so happy to see. He's like, puts on this fake best friend voice. Mm-hmm. And I don't love it. And he's already asking you what you want to do next. And then Kandros and Kesh come in and are like making decisions without us already, Tan. Very annoyed that Tan is starting this line of conversation without everyone, the pillars, being present to decide what to do next.
For real. Tan very much I look forward to winning our Pathfinder support. Shut up.
Yeah, it's so fake. Up. I hate it.
Some things that Tam says, he calls himself your patron. Don't like that. Nope. Don't do that. He says, your ingenuity speaks for itself. A great one hangs it on the wall. You're a reason for people to believe. Take charge and ignore your critics. I'm just you need to calm down. You're an accountant.
Go back to crunching the numbers. One. No, not at all.
You need to chill, dude. What did you say when he gave you his approval for your next step?
I said, I don't need your approval.
Me too. I wasn't really asking for it, bud. Yeah. I was gonna go whether you said yes or no.
And like credit to Tan, he is just like, yeah, it's fine. I'm glad. We'll be great. Like he just lets it roll off because he thinks he's still winning. Cora's in this room as well, and you can chat with her. She points out to you that in a nicer way, like this is where we'll get to see your accomplishments. Like we can witness the great things we're doing. They'll all be recorded here.
She also talks about how the mood of the Nexus has changed.
Yeah, and how there's definitely a buzz in the air now that they have something to be hopeful about.
Yeah. She also sparks Ryder to say something that I liked and I wrote down, third time lucky.
Yes, I did that too. Yeah. And she says it's going to take a lot more than luck. It's going to take a lot of hard work too. It's like, fine, Killjoy, whatever.
Okay, but like a lot of luck.
But also a lot of luck.
But pal, let's talk about AVP.
Yeah, so after this, we can go talk to Addison. And Addison is cordial, which is a nice change of pace. And she lets us know that we're going to have to start making some major decisions. Now that we have a settled world and we're getting resources and people are being able to settle, we're going to be able to start making major decisions that affect everyone, including ourselves, that help build out these colonies even further.
Which is all very fancy talk for, here are some free resources.
Yeah.
Here are some free game resources.
And then you get to
as you level up the Nexus, you get to unlock things.
And when you go to talk to your liaison, he's like, yeah, you'll only be making decisions for every living being across the planets and on the Nexus. And my writer was just like, that's a lot, man. He's like, yeah, but now you're paying attention. It's like, God damn it.
I love Brekka. I think he's great.
He is great. It's very one of those moments like, you.
Once Brekka, like, runs through the whole thing with you and you talk to him, my favorite thing about him is you conclude this conversation and he says, make my job obsolete. I dare you.
So good.
Like, okay.
All right.
Why is everybody on this station at an 11? Calm down.
What did you choose as your first AVP resource?
Oh god, I don't remember. It was something that gives me more research points.
I chose the one that gives me more minerals. Because of the two things I had when I got back to the Nexus to play with, I didn't have very many resources, but I did have a bunch of research points. So I was like, clearly I am deficient in one of these things. I will rectify that.
That's fair. I think actually I had 2 AV points because I leveled up a lot by talking to people.
Yeah, I think I should have gone back at the end because I did level up twice doing the side missions, but I didn't go back to AVP after. So I should, before our next session, I will probably do that because I probably have another one as well.
You can do AVP from Tempest.
Oh, cool. Okay, great.
So you don't have to keep going back to the Nexus for it.
Perfect.
So there's that.
Excellent. The power shortages, I did shortly after that.
Yes.
What is it with people almost dying from electrocution on this station?
This place is a mess. But at least this time it's not sabotage, or at least it's not like intentional interference. It is a bug, a giant bug, a bug that is the size of a large dog.
Yeah, and so you follow the trail for these power shortages, and you discover that it is a large bug chewing on the wires, and you can either save or kill it. I chose to save it and call one of the scientists. I did too,
because we have Professor Herrick right here.
Yeah.
Like, if Professor Herrick were not an option, then I don't know.
If I had to save the bug, I would have killed it. But if someone else can save it, great.
If I could just be like, call Professor Herrick, I'm going to leave now.
I gotta go. That bug's real big.
I have to leave this room. While you're in Kesh's office, you can overhear some conversation between Drac and Kesh, which I love the two of them together. Drac is telling Kesh a story, and she, like, fills into detailing. It's like, have I told you this? And she's like, 343 times.
And Drac is like, you counted?
And she just laughs, and I'm like, oh, never change. I don't want to play this game anymore. I just want to listen to the two of you talk to each other. You're so cute. I love them so much.
You can also... I was going to say you can talk to Drax and like click on, like get a couple, like with Vetra earlier, you get a couple different responses about Tan and about, you know, Kesh and a few other things.
Yeah, he's like super happy that Tan can't kick him off the Nexus now because he's on the Pathfinder team. And also, he tells you about how it was him and Kesh against the galaxy since she was a baby.
So cute.
I have so many feelings about him and Kesh.
It's apparent. I can tell. I love it. I love the dynamic. I love the banter conversation in this game already. It's following suit with what 3 did really well for banter conversations. Which is a good and a bad thing. I feel like active banter conversation like this, I'm also afraid I'm going to miss something. I often find myself standing around waiting for it to be over, and I hate that. It happened recently in the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which I highly recommend and I really loved. But like, it's so dynamic that I feel like it's impossible to hear all of the banter because all of the Guardians are always talking to each other on the ship constantly. And like, you're just going to miss stuff. Which is good, right? You want it to feel lived in. But me as a player, knowing it's gamified, I'm like, but I don't want to miss anything. What if Groot has something to say?
And I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and I get a sense of that here, but it's fine.
I would like to tell you that there are some crazy people on the internet, of which I may be one, who have actually transcribed a lot of the banter, and you can find it and read it.
Oh, good. Excellent.
So,
I will do that.
If you feel like you're missing any specific Andromeda banter, you can find it. It is out there in a transcript.
Yep.
Because there's also party banter when you're driving around on the planets.
Right.
Which I'm sure you noticed back on EOS. And there's different banter for different combinations of squad mates.
Right. It's like the elevator conversations.
Right. So, like, PB and Drac will have a different conversation than Drac and Vetra. So there's just so much. And you might miss some of it. So I read through all the transcriptions. I'm not even sorry. Anyway, I was also going to reference a conversation that Kesh is having on comms where she's complaining about inventory being off. And she's like, Vetra kept it all in her head. We mere mortals can't do that, is what she's told when she's like, Vetra never had any of these problems.
Right, yeah. It's
well,
like not everyone's Vetra.
Vetra's a god, so... And I really appreciate it. Let's see, what else can we talk about?
So the firefighters mission, you get codes from the Asari doctor of your doctor cohort, your 3 doctors.
Dr. Aradana.
Dr. Aradana. Like the council, I will probably have trouble remembering all 3 of their names because I'm bad with names. But she has these equations that she needs solved and would love Sam to help. But she doesn't want you to just ask Sam through your mind link. She wants you to bring them to him directly because it's sensitive information. And so you agree. And then you bring it to Sam. And like any idiot who's never used a computer before, you just put it in. It's like, have you learned nothing? Did they not, like, of course you don't want to assume foul play, but you're putting a disc in your super mind. And of course, shit goes sideways fast as there's some kind of virus and you have to help Sam kind of regain consciousness.
What I really liked about this is that Sam shows you what to do.
Yeah, by creating like projections.
Yeah. And it's a very different way for us to interact with Sam and the game instead of like scanning and like figuring out that way. And then once you do the steps that Sam has showed you, then he calms down and he's just like, so that almost killed me. I would not repeat the experience.
Yeah. He's like, there was a virus. And so, of course, immediately you go back to the doctor going, what the hell? You gave me a virus.
Poor Dr. Aradana is so upset, though.
Yeah. She's like, I would never hurt anyone, not even an AI. And then you're told that there's apparently an AI extremist group that wants to get rid of all AI, and that one of the other doctors says that actually there was a problem with one of the Avena terminals. You might be able to find more information there. And of course, you go downstairs, and there's a red Avena terminal with these demon eyes glowing that you can talk to. It is the person who put the virus on the disk.
I just want to say that when you're being told about the AI sentiment, you have like 2 responses. You can be like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, AI is a little iffy. Or you could just be like, that's stupid.
Yes. And of course I went, that's stupid.
That's stupid.
But then Sam kind of pops into your head and goes, you know, if they believe me to be destroyed and our link severed, you might be able to earn their trust. And so you go, oh yeah, I feel so much better now. And then they mention their leader whose name escapes me.
Knight.
Night, right. And they say, yeah, sure, we can probably arrange a meeting. Keep an eye on your email. And what I love about this, and it's one of the first quests I saw this with, is that it then pops up in your quest log with big red letters that say, on
hold. Yes.
So you know this,
so good.
You cannot progress this mission until the game does something. Don't worry about it. I love that. More games need that. So you know, okay, I don't have to figure out what's next. You just know that you can wait and the game will tell you what to do next, or the story will progress and tell you what to do next.
Yes, I love the on hold feature. It's so good. Journey of a Hero, or Path of a Hero rather, is also on hold after talking to Carrie Tavessa, so it's done. I do want to call back to the conversation with the doctors when they're telling you about the anti-AI sentiment. If you reply saying that stupid Professor Lucan, who is the Turian, tells you about all the Quarians who died during the Morning War, and I just want to be like, first of all, don't call me champ. Second of all, it was their fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
They make me so mad.
I know, but this is pre-Geth freedom.
No, they don't know. They don't know.
Actually, it's post-Geth freedom, but they just don't know yet.
Yeah, it is way post-Geth freedom. They just don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, the firefighter mission is on hold. Play along. Make it sound like it worked and that you're not angry that they attacked your partner AI and almost killed him.
Yeah. The other mission that we have, so there's one other mission, and then there's a couple of areas we can explore that also have missions. I think first let's talk about the cryo deck. Harry reaches out to you and tells you that they may have a way to communicate with your sister. Please come to the cryo deck.
Or my brother.
Or your brother. And it's part of the Ryder family something mission.
Ryder family secrets.
That one. And so when you go... you say to Harry, you're like, so is she okay? She's like, yeah, vitals are so stable, and we might have a way for you to communicate. You go, really? How? And he's like, better if I let Sam explain. And Sam tells you that even though the other rider is in a coma, Sam can connect to their node just like Sam connects to yours. And that Sam should be able to allow you to communicate with them via that node, even though they're unconscious. And so you can do that. And it's creepy a little bit.
You think so?
Well, I feel bad for the other rider because they don't really know what's happening, even though you can tell them. And so, did you lie to them about what was going on or tell them the truth?
I told them the truth.
I did the same.
God, we're
just...
Why are we the same person?
I don't know. We had the same problem the last 3 seasons.
God. So. Keep thinking you're going to do something different to surprise me, and you don't. I should do different things. But,
I'm trying to play honest to myself.
I know. I am too.
I would tell you the truth.
I would also tell you the truth.
If I were a robot and I didn't know, would you tell me?
Matt, I have some very unfortunate news for you.
Please don't do this to me. But yeah, and so when you first tell her about what's happening, that she's in a coma, she starts to understand, and then she asks about your dad. And when you tell the truth about that, she starts to freak out a lot, and eventually Harry just kind of severs the connection and says it's her vitals are flying off the handles and it's detrimental.
It's not just, telling your sibling that your dad is dead. It's also the failure of the Golden World. Because one of the questions they ask is did the Golden World pan out? Dad said that it would be amazing. Is it everything he said it would be? And then you have to tell them, I'm really sorry, but it's not. Things are not what we were promised.
Yep.
And everything's kind of fucked up. And it's implied that the stress of finding out the truth and, the grief and the shock really puts your sibling through it, and they can't maintain the connection.
Yeah, also, it's not only telling the other rider that your dad's dead, but it's that the rider realizes they never got to say goodbye, and that's when it really starts to get bad, because they realize, oh no, this person I care about is gone, and I can't do anything, and I'm still not awake. And it just spirals.
And the question is it better to not know? Would it have been better to lie?
No, because if I'm pretending that this sibling is you and you are my sibling, and I kept something like that from you, and then you woke up and found out, you would beat the snot out of me. So like, I think
I would be upset. It's true.
Like, no matter what, you're going to be upset. My logic is better for you to know and be upset than to not know, find out, and be upset about
and then
multiple
be more
things.
Upset.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think finding out the truth is hard when you can't do anything about it. I think if I had been told, hey, just so you know, you don't want to put this person under any additional stress because it could hurt them,
Yeah.
then maybe I would lie.
Maybe, yeah.
Because then I'm like consciously trying to make sure that you're not put under so much stress that it hurts you in this moment.
Right.
And then we can deal with the hurt later.
Right, and I don't want to cause permanent physical damage or
Right.
because of something that we can talk about later.
Right. But we're not given any kind of indication that telling the truth is going to cause any damage. So there's no reason not to, as far as we know.
Right, because this is also a unique situation. It sounds like this has not really ever happened before. This kind of link communication, though probably possible before, has not really been done, at least by Harry or anyone on this ship.
So yeah, and we just kind of have to leave our sibling in a coma.
Yep, and like it was really weird, like my writer gets up and just goes, Sarah, and then it cuts away. Like, you'd think there'd be like another part of that sentence, or like I talked to Harry after, but it just ends and then you can leave, and which was felt a little stunted.
I mean, I do talk to Harry after that.
I do too, but like it doesn't go right into something. You have to.
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting and sad, but I'm sure they'll be okay.
I'm just annoyed because if this is one of those things where like they wake up just as the game is ending, I'm gonna throw this game out the window. Because that's dumb, and it's
they
dumb.
wake up before the game ends.
Great.
I can tell you that.
Great.
The game does not end, and then they wake up. They wake up before the game ends.
Great. Thanks. There are a few other minor things. There are new areas to explore now that the Nexus is big up and running. We can go to the botany area where they're growing plants.
The hydroponics bay.
The hydroponics bay, where we get to talk to a very rude botanist about how he needs more plants, and he yells at us and then tells us to stop breathing his air. It's like, thanks. Great. Helpful.
Did you call him out on being rude?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because if you decide to just be like, okay, bye, you don't get the mission.
Yep. I figured as much.
So yeah, you have to call him out on being rude in order to get the mission. And he asks you for plants so that way you can help people survive. It is worthy. It is a worthwhile cause. It's just, dude, you need to touch some grass. You're in a perfect place to do that.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about the science office. Glad that those scientists have their own office now instead of hanging out in the middle of a hangar.
Yeah, I love that for them.
I love that for them too. There's a cultural center where you can learn about each race. There are VIs, and then you can also help calibrate your own Pathfinder VI.
I love the cultural center.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love that we get to determine what the Pathfinder VI will teach other Pathfinders.
First of all, did you choose a male or female?
I chose male.
VI? Okay, I chose female.
Right.
And the options were exploration or first contact.
Oh, right. Sorry. Exploration is what I meant.
I chose that. And then it was Pathfinder team or partner AI.
Pathfinder team.
I chose partner AI.
Okay.
And then career advice or memorial.
And I chose career advice.
I also chose career advice.
Yes. Help others so they don't have to go through the shit I'm going through.
Right? Like, I feel like if I had career advice, maybe I wouldn't be so confused.
Correct.
And I also love that when you run through it, there's this level of humor in Ryder's voice, at least in Sarah's voice, and I think also in Scott's, of just like, tell me more about Pathfinders. I would love to hear it.
Please tell me. I don't know anything.
I love it. I think it's so funny. I love the cultural center liaison. I think she's amazing.
She's great.
She's very funny. She's just like, yeah, I don't think we'll be inviting the Ket here anytime soon. Like, you're right. You're right.
You're right.
I think the only other thing to talk about is the bar.
Yes, the Vortex. So obviously it has to have a bar/club. Every station in the Mass Effect universe has one. No dancing girls in this one, thank God.
No, but there is open mic night.
There is open mic night.
I'm so excited about open mic night.
We get to talk to the two bartenders. One is a chemist, though, and makes you very aware. We get to do a quick little mission where we get some supplies from our ship to help them make better drinks. And here's the second moment where once you turn that in and talk to the chemist, he's cranky and shitty, and you say, aren't you supposed to be pleasant? You're a bartender. He's like, I'm a chemist. And then gives you a drink, and you drink it. Like, there's no option to say no thank you. There's no option to say, can I have something non-alcoholic? It's literally, here's drink, you drink it. And I didn't like that. It just, as someone who doesn't drink and is sober and a sober person for many years, I just don't like that my character has to drink. It's not really me, so it's fine, but like that's a choice I would make, and we're trying to play these games as if they were us, and they take that choice away from me.
Well, maybe the dirty squirrel is non-alcoholic.
Oh, God, I hope so with a name like that.
It's possible. It could be.
Also, how do they know what squirrels are? Where are there any squirrels?
Well, Dutch is human.
That's true.
First of all.
That's true.
Anon is Asari, but like, you know, maybe there are Thessian squirrels. We don't know what squirrels were up to.
That's true.
Squirrels could have had space flight at some point.
I will say, playing a game for the first time for a podcast is hard for me for many reasons, but one is like if I don't write down a name, I don't remember it. And like I didn't really have to write down a lot of names for the trilogy because I played it over and over and over again, so I remembered a lot of the characters. First time through, like I think going forward I'm going to have to write down these character names every time I encounter them until I start to remember them, because like I just they're falling out of my head. That said, I could never remember the names of the council either, and I saw them constantly, so
it's
like
true.
I'm just bad with names, I think.
I think you are. It's true. I think Dutch is very funny because he's so grumpy and he's just like, I am a chemist. This is supposed to be my lab. People are fucking giving me things. I did not ask for things. Why are they like this?
He reminds me of every bartender in Park Slope. Like, he's just a hipster bartender. I didn't need to leave Earth to find my own little Brooklyn here on this stupid station.
I love it though, because at one point Anon says, the drinks are damn good. And Dutch is like, damn right they are. And then he realizes, oh no, I admitted to making drinks for people to enjoy.
Yeah, like the immediate error on his face.
God damn it. Here, have another drink. Go away. Stop looking at me. You could run through the entire, like, Dutch conversation right there and just keep talking to him and he'll keep giving you drinks. Or you can just spread it out over the rest of the game.
Yeah, I didn't. After that conversation, I was like, well, I have no desire to talk to this jackass right now. I'm going to go away.
So, yeah, that's really it, right? And you pick up your Pyjack friend. Did you pick up your Pyjack friend?
I did pick up my Pyjack friend.
Yeah.
And then save the game before going to the Tempest. We know now that we're going to go explore this other new planet that we have been pinged a signal for from Eros. Not Eros.
Eos. Eros is something completely different.
It is completely different. And yet I probably will keep making that mistake.
While we were on Eos,
yes,
we saw that there is a vault active somewhere else in the Helios cluster. So that is our next target.
Correct. And we got permission from Tan, though we didn't need it.
We didn't need it.
But we got permission from Tan to go explore it.
All right. So that was revisiting the Nexus. I know it wasn't super exciting, but we got to do it because if we don't, then we miss stuff.
Also, we still managed to talk for an hour and 20 minutes so far. So
yeah, it's fine.
You got your money's worth.
We talked so much. It's
your
fine.
whole $0.
I have some advice for survival in a new galaxy.
I had seen some come in, and so I gleefully ignored them and made them your problem.
We got 2 pieces of advice from James Gibson. First, make sure you stop by enemy bases on planet surfaces as much as possible, as quest items spawn there randomly, and if you don't pick them up, you'll end the game having to drive around just trying to finish up quests, which is great for Victory Lap, but not so much at keeping gameplay engaging.
Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind.
His second piece of advice is on each world, you'll have to do something big and important in a kind of area that one of the Asari on your crew will be very interested in. Always loot every crate in these areas, as there's a quest that wants you to retrieve 9 of the 11 of these items, and a bunch are hidden in areas you can't get back to afterwards.
Huh. Interesting.
So do as much exploration beforehand. Remember in the Eos Vault when there was that...
Death Cloud?
Yes, there was the Death Cloud. And as we were heading towards the entrance, Vetra says, if you want that thing, go get it.
Yeah. It's those things.
Sometimes it's those things. Sometimes they're just like really hidden in like a little pocket of the map that it's hard to get to. So explore as much as possible.
Okay.
And honestly, this is your first time playing. If you want to have a walkthrough, I'm not going to judge you.
Sure. I'm trying not to use a walkthrough. I'm trying to use you as my borders of like...
That's your first mistake.
Where do I stop, or did I go too far? But mostly just for our play sessions. But I will say, before we get to like, we wrap things... Well, there's one more piece of advice, right?
Yes, it's from me.
Mm-hmm.
My last piece of advice is to keep an eye on your emails. Spend AVP as often as you can, and actually send out your Apex strike teams.
I sent out one. When we went back to the Nexus, I sent out one.
Good job. You can also send out strike teams from the Tempest.
Cool.
So, like, do that as often as possible. You'll get resources. So,
cool.
You should not ever be lacking for resources in this game. They give you so many opportunities to get them. And also, you can sell salvage.
Yep. Before we wrap up, I know you have some questions for me, but I just want to say, now that we're 4 episodes in, playing a game I've never played before for a podcast like this is very difficult. I don't know that I would do it again. Except for continuing series that we've already established, but playing Andromeda, not having any experience with it, has been really hard for me because I just feel kind of lost. Also, you know me, like as a producer, I want to guide this podcast, and I can't really. I kind of have to let you do it, and you're doing a great job with it. It has nothing to do with you. It's just that's outside my comfort zone. I like to.
Right.
I have a control problem a little bit, and like I don't.
Do you?
What?
Tell me more.
And I just don't have it with this game. And so it's a little nerve-wracking, but like obviously I'll see it through. And obviously when Mass Effect Next comes out and Dragon Age 4 comes out, like we're going to, in theory, play the Dragon Age games and those games. Like, you know, it's no secret that we do want to, at some point, whenever we do, take on the Dragon Age series after Mass Effect. But like, it's just much harder for me to engage with an unknown game. And, you know, a lot of the retrospective podcasts, especially our peers, are playing games they've played before. Not all of them. Like, I know that our friends at Normandy FM, when they did Last of Us 1 and 2, I don't believe Eric had played the sequel yet and played it for the first time for that. And it's not my preference. I will do it, and there will be times when we do it, and maybe there'll be games that you haven't played that I've taken the lead on. But, like, I'm just struggling with it right now. It may get easier as time goes on, but I wanted to share that perspective since it became apparent this most recent play session.
That's fair. Some things that I was curious about for this session was, what are your thoughts about your party now that you've had some time to chat with them? Like, have your opinions changed in any way? Are you looking forward to specific things?
I mean, I like them all. I think Liam is still my least favorite, but like I think that moment was an isolated moment under high pressure. It does not seem like that's core to Liam's personality. He's not a vengeful person. It does not seem anyway. We'll see. But also he has the downside of being a human, and I tend to gravitate towards the aliens because humans are boring. But I like the crew on the ship. I was afraid for a while that I was gonna be like, well, I don't have Joker and I don't have Dr. Chakwas, so like, what's the point? But these cast of characters don't replace those, but are very much on par with those characters. I think they are on equal footing, and I'm enjoying the time I'm spending with them.
Now that we don't have Paragon or Renegade to kind of guide us towards good or aggressive or diplomatic, is it harder or easier for you to decide what to say?
Easier. I almost don't think about it. Like, it's often the heart choice. Sometimes it's the thought choice, but like I always thought that Renegade and Paragon was too black and white. By the third game, it's better, and that those choices still feel broader. Like, No one will ever not stab Ninja Boy in that final mission, Cerberus mission. Like, it's just, that's the renegade trigger for everybody. It's not a renegade trigger. It's a kill that asshole trigger, as far as I'm concerned. But like, this allows you to feel like you can just have reactions without them having a moral implication. And I think the age of the good or evil track, like the Fable games and the Infamous games, Mass Effect, that's an outdated system, and the things are more complicated than that. And I think what Inquisition does and this game does is a little more realistic for choosing. It's not just good or evil, it's more complicated, and I appreciate that.
And any thoughts on romance yet? I know it's early. I'm just trying to see where you are.
I mean, I'm kind of crushing on a few people. I flirted with Vetra, and there were 2 flirt options, and I wimped out on the second one. Like, I flirted once, and then I felt awkward, and so I didn't flirt the second time. You know, I don't have. There's no clear front runner. I don't think Gil's my type, which is sad because I do like Gil, but I think he's more my friend type than my companion type. But PB, Vetra, who am I forgetting? Yeah, I mean, PB and Vetra, the front runner, and Cora, like, are
still... like, who are you forgetting?
Yeah, it was Cora. Are all kind of this nebulous, like, I think they're all cool. They're all neat. Liam, I'm still looking to warm up to. I'm not. He still leaps and bounds better than almost every other human character in this franchise, but I still haven't quite warmed up to him yet. And like, hell, I'd date Kesh, but I don't think they're going to let me. So,
no, unfortunately.
But yeah, no, I think that I already shot my shot with Suvi, who was my front runner, and she put me in my place really fast.
It was the accent, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know it was. See, Frankie knows I have a thing for accents, so.
I was waiting for that to happen. I was just like, oh, he's gonna be so upset.
But yeah, so there's no front runner yet for who I'm going to romance. So sorry, folks who filled out that form and are waiting to win something. There's no official decision yet.
We're gonna have to close it out at some point. I think once we get our last squad mate.
Okay.
We'll have to close it out.
Okay.
But we have one more squad mate, which we will get in our next episode.
Okay, cool.
So, and also one more romance option.
All right.
Well, a couple more romance options, but one that will actually be on your ship with you.
Got it.
Yes. So the final squad mate is also a romance option.
Okay. Noted.
So there you go. I'm excited for you to meet this character. I think you're going to like them a lot.
Okay. Cool.
Lastly, we have an email from Hal.
Awesome. I don't have it open. I hope you do.
I do, because I'm great.
You are great.
The subject of this email is saving the council versus not saving. Hi, Matt and MJ. First off, I love the podcast. I only recently found it, but I immediately subscribed after I listened to the first episode. There really aren't many podcasts that do what you do, at least to my knowledge, and I'm very appreciative of all the effort you put into this. Anyways, I recently finished episode 1.10, and I wanted to make a comment about my decision when it came to saving the council or letting them die, and how I carried myself through all 3 games. Forgive me in advance if someone else brought this up before. My most recent playthrough, I played a mixed Paragon Renegade Shep who is a career soldier who put the mission above all else. So when making a decision, I looked at it through the lens of what makes the most sense from a military standpoint. I also tried my best to make a decision with the facts Shepard had, not with what I myself knew from the meta. For example, on Vermeer, I almost always saved the person who was working on the nuclear bomb. In my case, it was Caden, because the mission objective was to destroy the facility on Vermeer, and that can't happen if Caden gets overrun as he works on the bomb. Now, the player might know that the bomb will go off regardless, but does Shepard know that? So making sure that the bomb goes off seems to be the correct choice for a Shepard who puts the mission first. Same can be applied for the decision on saving the council or focusing on Sovereign. Consider this. Shepard has just come from Ilos, where we learned about how Sovereign and Saren are trying to activate the Citadel relay and summon a full Reaper invasion. Knowing that, and Shepard not knowing that no matter what you do, Sovereign will be stopped, Would you divert precious firepower to save the council, or would you send everything you have at Sovereign, who threatens the very existence of trillions of people? So to me, it makes the most military sense to go after Sovereign, even if it's not the most moral choice. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on the issue. Keep doing the awesome work you two have been doing. All the best, Hal. P.S. If you're looking for another game to play through, I'd highly recommend The Witcher 3. Incredible storytelling with many chances for impactful decisions throughout the game. Hal, thank you so much for taking the time to write to us. You are at the start of our Mass Effect journey, and it's going to take you a while to hear us reading your email, but we really appreciate you, and we think you're wonderful.
Yes. Thank you so much for writing us. I can see that logic, right? That does actually make a ton of sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think it's cool. Frankie and I have played through the series as ourselves, but you deciding to create a character almost like a fan fiction, like I've said before, like my femshep is a character I created that had rules that weren't my rules. They were their own rules for that character. I love that you made a Shepard that way too. You created Shepard as a character who exists in a world that may not be you, but has rules and morals that you follow, and it's more military focused. And I think that's a really interesting way to do it. I hope that by the time you get to this, you've made other decisions like that you can enlighten us with. And thank you for this suggestion of Witcher 3. We'll add it to the pile. We allude to Dragon Age a lot, and we'll likely be Dragon Age next, but it's all determined on when the next Mass Effect comes out and what we might decide to do, and any ideas we may come up with in between the next 2 seasons. But thank you for that suggestion. I am a fan of Witcher 2 and 3 and love the show, though I don't love all of the depictions in those games. So it'd be a hard thing, because Frankie would have to be Geralt, who's a character I like, but it would complicate things based on what we're trying to do. So, but thank you for the suggestion. It is a great series, and we'll throw it in the pile with Fable and Dragon Age and all the other things that we've been thinking about. Fallout, it's a big pile.
It is a big pile. So that's really it for us for this episode. On our next episode, we'll be pursuing the active vault we saw on the star map and seeing just what secrets Andromeda is keeping.
Yes.
Anything to add?
No. I was just going to say yes, we will. And also, if we haven't said before, our guest calendar is a little askew. You'll probably know guests as they appear on the show, not in advance. Sorry for that. It's just planning for this is a little more challenging, as we've said. It's why we don't have a clear roadmap either. So we promise to have guests. This might be a season that's more focused on just the two of us, especially since I'm inexperienced with the game. But as we can, we will absolutely have guests. And we do definitely have plans for guests in the future. We're just still trying to sort it out.
There will be more guests on the back end of things. Like, as we're in this kind of setting up first act, there's really not a lot that is compelling for a lot of people to talk about. Most people want to talk about very specific missions that don't come in until later.
Yep.
So, that being said, if you're listening and you're interested in being a guest, you're about to find out how to contact us. If you like what you heard here, follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, facebook.com/reignitepod, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. That is also where you can send your advice for survival in a new galaxy, if you have any, for Matt. You can also find me on Twitter at iHoardLibraries and Matt at DJ_Stormageddon. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher if you can. It helps us get seen so other people can find us.
We're also members of the Certain Point of View podcast network. You can visit certainpov.com for more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on that website. Join in the conversation with us, please. Mass Effect. The Mass Effect section of our Discord has always been the most active, and we love our listeners, but the whole Discord has been hopping lately, talking about games, movies, TV, books. As you're hearing this, Frankie's Christmas podcast will be coming back soon.
Oh, yeah.
So,
this is true.
Which I'm sure they will talk about more as time goes on. But just check out the Discord. We're always posting everything that we're doing there. There's still a side conversation about all the things I don't know about this game yet, as well as people taking bets. More on that in a minute. But seriously, thank you to everyone who's been active on our Discord. It's been a pleasure chatting with you all, and I hope if you're listening and you haven't yet joined the Discord, you would consider doing so, because we have some great folks there hanging out.
Yes, speaking of betting, if you would like to weigh in on what you think Matt's Andromeda experience is going to be like, I have a Google form set up. You can find it at bit.ly/storminandromeda. Head over there and you can weigh in on who do you think Matt's going to romance, who will his favorite squad mate be, who will his least favorite squad mate be, his favorite mission, the mission that makes him think the most. And also there's a section for highly specific predictions. The most highly specific prediction that gets the most right is going to win lots of points, and whoever gets the most points or the most things right, they're going to win a special prize pack to be determined at some point in the future. Don't at me about it, I'll figure it out. That being said, we also work on some other projects. For example, me. If you're enjoying Andromeda's shenanigans, then you should catch me over on Archives of the Dragon every other Monday, where my spouse, Professor John Bradley Lestrange, leads us through the wild unknown outside the Helios cluster in Andromeda. You can find that at twitch.tv/Archives of the Dragon. Matt also mentioned my seasonal Christmas movie podcast. That's called Certain Point of View. It's a limited run. We do 10 episodes where we just watch new Christmas movies for the year, give them arbitrary ratings, and it is basically just a good time to talk about wholesome Christmas stuff. And if we don't like something, we're not mean about it.
Yes, and I will be making an appearance at some point, of course. So tune in for that.
I'm very excited for the movie that Matt is going to be joining us for.
I also work on a bunch of different things. The best place to find them all is if you go to www.djstormageddon.com. That's where you can find all of the podcasts that I work on and produce. You can find my Twitch page, you can find my Ko-fi link, and you can find my merch store. If you want to support this show and the other shows that I work on, the best way to do that is to support me through Ko-fi or subscribing on Twitch or buying my merch or buying our merch from Redbubble. All of that stuff really helps this and all the other shows that I work on. So yeah, go check that out.
Speaking of Redbubble, we'd like to thank Red Spinks for our It's Okay to Be a Marshmallow t-shirt on Redbubble, featuring our favorite marshmallow, Caden Alenko. You can find more of his work at Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
We'd also like to thank previous guest, Carter's husband, Case, for designing even more amazing shirts that you can find at certainpov.com or on Teespring.
We'd also like to thank David Boyle for redesigning our logo like a champ. And lastly, thank you to JT Music and Andrea Storm Caden for our new theme music. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
Good luck, Pathfinders.
Hey there, Screen Beans. Have you heard about Screen Snark?
Rachel, this is an ad break. They aren't screen beans until they listen to the show.
Fine. Potential Screen Beans. You like movies and TV shows, right?
I mean, who doesn't? Screen Snark is a casual conversation about the movies and television shows that are shaping us as we live our everyday lives.
That's right, Matt. We have a chat with at least one incredible guest every episode, hailing from all walks. We've interviewed chefs,
writers, costumers, musicians,
yoga teachers, comedians, burlesque dancers,
folks in the film and TV industry,
and more.
We'd be delighted for you to join us every other Monday on the Certain POV Podcast Network.
Or wherever you get your podcasts, fresh and tasty off the presses.
What? That's not...
Can I call them Screen Beans now?
Fine.
Screen Beans!
So tune in and we'll see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere.
'Cause you're all Screen Beans now.
She will be mine. Aurora.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.